Hi everybody, it's Mark here. A couple of videos ago I was talking about the color scales of the Golden Dawn and how much I enjoyed this deck because of that color scale thing. Well, I found another deck. It's been around quite a while and it was reissued in 2018 and originally printed in 1990, and plenty of videos on the internet about this deck. And I did see it years ago, maybe 7 years ago, and I really liked it, but I wasn't into the connections to the Kabbalah and the color scales and prince instead of knight or king and all that sort of switcheroo that the Golden Dawn did. So as much as I was attracted to it, I just thought, well, I don't know. I don't know this system. I don't really understand it. So having learned a lot since then, I'm really loving this Gill Tarot. Very Kabbalistic, but very, very easy to read. It's deceptively simple looking. I mean, it looks like, you'll see when I show you some cards, almost like a Sesame Street flashcard, number of the day kind of vibe. But wow, it really reads well. It has keywords on every card, including the courts, not the majors, they just have the titles. And you know, that's another thing that I've grown to enjoy probably in the last 4 to 5 years is keywords. You can use them or not use them, but I find it's helpful to have them there, and sometimes they are the thing telling the whole story. Now, Josephine Gill, who created the deck, stuck to the Golden Dawn keywords on the minors to some extent. In other words, the Two of Wands is Dominion in both systems, but in other cases she switched them around. In other words, the Nine of Discs isn't Gain, it's the Three of Discs, and sometimes she changed the keyword entirely, and you just have to go with it. You just have, not all of it makes sense. I mean, it was arbitrary why they picked certain words in the first place, well, arbitrary within the system, but still there's always a number of choices you can make to illustrate something. That's why we have synonyms of words, and so she's never totally gone off the rails in any case, and some of them I like better even and have more intuitive stretchability, I guess I would say. So I just wanted to show, I really got this deck about 6 weeks ago and I haven't been able to put it down. I got another deck after it and I like it, and it's very Kabbalistic, and I'll show it sometime on here. And I like everything about this other deck, but I just keep going back to the simplicity and the power of this deck. So let me just show you what she doesn't do that the Golden Dawn Magical Tarot does do. So she doesn't do the flashing colors on each of the minors. So this is the Golden Dawn Tarot, so we always have with wands red and green as complementary flashing colors, but the actual color scale of the Golden Dawn is this bluish deep indigo color in the background. That's really the main color. So in a way, some of this, especially with the wands, I mean, it looks like a Martian and Campbell's tomato soup, but especially in the wands, it's almost so distracting that we're not getting the hit off of the color scale color for 4 of Wands according to the Golden Dawn. And that's really what I'm looking for. So I appreciate that they've put everything into the card, but it's a bit distracting. So with cups, it's blue and orange as the complements, and that's not as distracting. And here we see the red as the actual color scale. But it all seems to be fighting each other. You don't really know where to go or what color hit to take on, because a red color hit is very different from a blue color hit intuitively. In the wands, it's yellow versus purple. And for the three swords is this brownish color as for the proper color scale. But the flashing color is the yellow and the purple. And for the discs, they've used black and white as the flashing colors, and then these sort of green flecked with gold, as they say on the color scale, is what, you know, the Golden Dawn was sort of going after. I mean, the Golden Dawn used flashing colors as well, but what I'm saying is the predominant color for the Seven of Discs, or Pentacles, is the green with flashing gold energy, because the rest is just appropriate to all discs, black and white kind of thing. So I'm just going to show you a couple of examples. So I've showed you the Four of Wands here, but you see in this, the Gill Tarot, all that indigo has really become prominent on the card. There's no red and green necessary. With the Five of Cups, it's all dripping red. We don't have to see the blue, orange vibe happening at all. With the Three of Swords, we've got the brown, now it dominating this card. And then I have to be honest, because so many of the discs are blue flecked with gold or red flecked with white or whatever, they're almost all got these flecks, and I'm sorry to say it kind of looks like vomit to me in this deck, which is off-putting, as you can imagine. So I would rather see green flecked with gold in a card like this Seven of Discs. But as you can see, you're going to get a delay that is, you know, a very Seven of Discs kind of vibe to it. And it's just a word that works as well as any other words. I mean, even the Thoth deck has failure. And I think really it's failure at this point. You know, not yet success. The Golden Dawn called it success unfulfilled. I like the delay aspect of this card. And, you know, these background colors are, you know, working on us in some way that we, you know, it may be psychological, we may not be sure why we are reacting in a certain way, but I think it's important that we see it in such full size, you know, color. So I won't go through the whole deck. It has, you know, normal majors that you would expect, but then you get these these minors so here's another one, Eight of Swords, and the russet color in the background is appropriate to the color scale. So, I mean, I love this card, the Ten of Discs. So they call it prosperity, others call it wealth. You know, you can get behind either one. It's not a problem. So this is black flecked with gold. No, rayed with gold, black rayed with gold. So, you know, it's a beautiful job that she's done on these. And honestly, I don't know of any other deck out there that, so again, normal majors. I don't know any other deck out there that, so here's an example of a court card having a keyword. And I love that she's just put a K, because she has the full word queen on the queens, prince on the prince, and princess on the princess. But here it's just a K, because maybe you think of him more as a king. Maybe if you're a Thoth person, you think of him more as a knight. So you can just do your own thing on those cards. Beautiful Hermit card. So let me just show you some more, a beautiful star card, and then I'll just show you some more of the minors. So we get something like this. So it's not like the minors are, I love this interpretation of the Six of Discs. I prefer well-being to material success, frankly. And when I read Marseille, one of the keywords for the discs or pentacles for me is well-being, because that can be what's in your purse, or what's in your body. But in any case, you do get a vibe from the card. It's not just a number and a color. There are things sort of going on. Interestingly, they've used the complementary colors in the card. Blue versus orange, purple versus yellow, red versus green. So let me show you a few more. So here's the two Dominion. Soft blue is the color scale, which is unusual to start off a fiery suit. Here's the 5. I like that she's changed the word from strife to endeavor, because I often use, for the 5 of Wands, strive instead of strife, and endeavor does a good job of going along with that. So the 6 of Cups is satisfaction instead of pleasure. That's not a big shift. Some, like I say, they stick with the card keyword that we're used to, which is valor for the 7 of Wands. That's a pretty good devil card. I like this Princess of Wands. In any case, and I do think something like 3 of Cups, joy, works better than abundance. It just sort of gets you there a little quicker. Let me see. And she's sort of taken the dragon out of that 1 cup in the RWS 7 of Cups, and she's called it imagination, and there's a lot. I love this 4 of Swords, rest. I mean, you really do get that vibe from the card of taking a break. Let's see, what else do we have? This is very different. Preparation instead of strength for the 9 of Wands. But when you think of the RWS image, he's got sort of a barricade up. He's prepared. He's got that 1 wand that he's using if he needs to defend himself. Here's the steps to preparation, maybe the former battles, that type of thing. So you can still see why she's doing what she's doing. There's also a book that is either sold separately or you can get it on Kindle. I mean, it's out of print, but you can get it off eBay. And there's even a kit where the book and the deck come together, but they're all out of print. This version just comes with a little white book, which is, pretty decent. And it doesn't come with the book. This is the one that's available now. So we go from swiftness to speed for the 8 of Wands. Let me just see if there's anything else. I like order for the 4 of Discs, and I really like uncertainty for the 7 of Swords. Interesting little story. I was watching the movie, what is it? What was the name? It's the beautiful Queen of Cups. Contemplation. I was watching a very great death card, and I really like a classic moon card. I don't really like the Thoth moon card that much. There's a beautiful 2 of Pentacles, or Discs, and a harsh word, but not 10 swords in the back for the 10 of Swords here. Really interesting 4 of Cups. So the word satiety in the Thoth deck is on the 10 of Cups. Here it's on the 4. But I can see it on the 4 because it's the Moon in Cancer decan. And so there's a classic Fool for you. And there's oppression as we know it. So I was watching the movie. What was the movie about? The Pope dies, and it was nominated for a number of Academy Awards. And they have to elect a new Pope. And it's not called the Vatican. I really can't think of it at the moment. I'm sure you're all screaming the title of the movie at me. Anyway, it's a really great movie. I thought it moved along very well. It was very well written and very well acted. So sometimes when I get a new deck, I like to sort of play with it without getting into anything that's too heavy in terms of questions for the deck. So all I asked was, what is this movie about? And so I picked 3 cards, and this is before I had watched the movie, so I just said, what's this movie about? So I got, of course, the Hierophant, which is the most popey of all the cards. And here's the priest. And I got the High Priestess, because there were nuns in the story, and one nun in particular kind of stood out. Isabella Rossellini played the character, and she was nominated for an Oscar. And the middle card, which is why I remember this, was Uncertainty. And when the lead character in, you know, the early part of the movie, right after the death of the Pope, he has to make a speech. He's the one sort of organizing the election, and he has to make a speech to his fellow cardinals, etc. And he used the word uncertainty in his speech about 6 or 7 times. And I was just staring at these 3 cards like, oh my God, that is exactly, what is happening in this movie. So that really sold me on the deck. It'll meet you wherever you want to be. So I will just leave you with that. It's the Gill Tarot, and I love it. Bye for now.